Hello, welcome to week 7, day 3. I love these two texts this week. I'm so excited to read them with you guys for our second read. So let's get right into it. I hope you guys had a great start to your week on Monday and Tuesday with Mr. Freeman and Miss Rao and Miss Lewis. So let's jump right in. Our lines of inquiry for this week have been really building on what we've been doing so far. They're not only focusing on what are rocks and minerals and how they are formed, but how are they impacting our everyday life, and then how can they also cause destruction to our land. And this week we got to kind of focus on a state that's really far away from us, and that state is Hawaii, and learn about a legend there. So one of the things that we're gonna need, of course, on day 3 is our annotation key. So make sure you guys have that. And our tasks today are to read and annotate. We're gonna be answering our text-dependent questions, and we're gonna fill out that chart getting our information, and then we're really pushed today to say exactly where we found that information. So if somebody's like, I don't believe you for that information, you're gonna say, nope, because I found it on page 6, paragraph 4. So we're gonna say exactly where we got our evidence. So text 1 is gonna be titled Overview of Earthquakes and Volcanoes. For later, I'm just going to say earthquakes and volcanoes. So that's how we'll title this text, is just earthquakes and volcanoes. And if you need to read aloud of this text, I'll link the video to Miss Rose Read Aloud in the description below. And so make sure that you guys go to that if you want to read aloud of that. We're going to focus all on annotating in this video. So this has some really great information all about volcanoes and tsunamis, and we're really focusing on how can rocks really destroy or cause destruction to our earth and really change and impact our everyday lives when they cause destruction. So I want you guys to read this page. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to read and annotate. Underline all the major points. If you have any questions, go ahead and put a question mark by it. I really want to point out one word before we get started, and it's this word right here. It's spelled Tsunamis, and it is said tsunami. That T on the front is silent. What a weird word of the English language, but it's irregularly spelled, and that word is said tsunami. Okay? So before you read, I just wanted to, in case you didn't go to Miss Rose's video, I just wanted to point out that word. It's said tsunami. So just say it out loud a couple times. Don't be afraid of it. It's just a weird word. All right, so 3 minutes, annotate, and then come to the next slide with me. All right, here were my annotations. I chose to underline these things, circle these things. Why do you think I chose to circle earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanoes? Oh yeah, those are the 3 things that cause destruction to the earth and impact people's daily lives. Are we affected by those in DC? Nah, usually not. I don't think DC has ever gotten any of those 3 natural disasters. And then I underlined the kind of definitions that go with those 3 things. Okay, let's move on. If you needed more support, go ahead and pause here and check your annotations with mine. Next, we see beware of falling ash. And this is clearly a impact of which natural disaster? Volcanoes, right? Let's see, go ahead and pause here, read this page and then come back for the annotations. So here is all the impacts of falling ash. It could cause problems for airplanes. It could get in their engines. These clouds could block sunlight, and it could reflect back into space. And it could even cool the surface of the earth. So lots of impacts on our daily life for this falling ash. Next, we're moving to this article from New Zealand, and it's this legend of Pele, and all about the effects that this legend has, and how they kind of explain volcanic eruptions in terms of this legend. So this is like a street mural. You see it's the volcano is her flowing hair. So it's all kind of revolved around this goddess. So today we're gonna think, how are they using this goddess and this legend to explain a natural disaster? So here's what I underlined. So when the lava flows into the neighborhood, people leave because in some places it burns homes down. Cracks open into the street. Lava oozes into her home. They have to leave the area. That's a pretty big impact on your life. So you see, the text continues. Let's see what we're going to annotate on this page. This page, it really is just talking about the legend, and we're getting more impacts on the legend. The actual impacts of the destruction on Earth, I really only found this one line. But the actual legend is talked about a lot on this page, okay? So if you guys want more information on the legend, this page is the bulk of that. So it talks about how this kind of goddess is thought to have lived in the center of the volcano. That it talks about what magma is and a lot of those things. So she's like thought of as an element, but really I underline the one thing that is really causes destruction to the earth. And then this was the last page. I want you guys to stop here, read it, and then come back for the annotations. And the 4 laws of Pele is kind of the 4 things about that people are going to live by in Hawaii. So they kind of believe these things about Pele and the volcano, and then they're going to live by these kind of 4 rules. So it really does impact their daily life, and so our understanding should kind of revolve around these 4 things. So now it's time to answer some questions. So the first questions is the legend told us of Pele said that it was used to understand what was happening around them. How does that contrast with what we've already learned about how volcanoes work? So how is that information a little different? And then how are these texts related? What information from the informational text, so the first text, could inform your understanding about the legend of Pele? So how is that information related? So first we're asked how are they different? Second we're asked how they're similar. Here are some sentence starters that you could use to help you answer those questions. All right. Go ahead and pause me here if you needed those sentence starters to help you out answering those questions. What if you have no idea of how to answer those questions, even with those sentence starters? What should we do? Absolutely, you should go back and you should reread, for sure. You guys are so smart. Next, we are going to be getting all the information we've gathered and then writing where we found that information. So we need to define what a volcano is in 3 ways. Remember, we can do this really note-taking style. We do not have to write full sentences here. So what is a volcano? Short little definition here. Where do we find it? What is a volcano? Short little definition here. What is a volcano? Right here. Okay. Description of destruction. Remember, destruction is destroying things, making it worse off than it was before. Totally a mess after. Just leaving it like, wow, awful, ruining things. How did the text describe destruction? Put it here. Where'd you find it? How did it describe it? Where'd you find it? And you're using both texts to put in description of destruction. So the first one, the informational one, and the second one about Pele. And then how volcanoes impact people, you're going to put the 3 ways it impacts people, but there were like 50, so this one should be no problem. And then where you found those things, the page number, then the paragraph number. Alrighty. And that is all for today. I hope that you guys have a great day. Keep staying safe. Keep washing your hands a bunch. I miss you guys so much. Your week 8 and 9 packets are at school, so make sure you go to school and get them. These will be our last distance learning packets, so please go get them. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow for writing. Bye-bye.